every event.
To go back in time before we take a look, as she takes the amount here, 9.812 is Janine Rankin's score over on the unevens. Now let's watch Svetlana.
Here's that first tumbling pass where she was just a little bit off. 2 back handsprings, 2 layout step outs, but she really pulls it back on. Sign of a veteran. Many others might have had more of a major balance break there. Nice angle to see exactly how much room you don't have on the balance beam. As Hannah said, it's 4 inches wide. It's actually just under 4 inches wide. And a double back. She was going for a stuck landing. She just had to check it just a little bit.
9.887. So she remains in second place, almost a 1/10 of a point behind Kalinina, her teammate. Onity remains third. Alicia Fernandez of Spain has moved into fourth. Rueda has dropped to sixth. Kathleen Stark, another member of the East German team, and as we've said before, this is the last time they'll be competing as East Germans. It'll be a unified German team after this. 15 years old, out of Rostock.
A handspring layout step out. You can see from that angle how straight you have to be with the balance beam to allow for no balance deduction. It's one of the special requirements on balance beam, combining dance elements directly connected.
The Germans say that Kathleen is their best performer here in Tacoma.
Back handspring, right to a tuck jump. Anytime a gymnast has to bend at the waist to correct her balance, that's more of a major deduction. Usually 2 to 3/10 of a point deduction. Straddle jump. Kathleen was ranked just behind her team, behind Janine Rankin of Canada. She was 21st in the all-around yesterday. Round off, double back dismount, nice height, and a good landing. Anytime you hit your balance beam routine, you're very, very happy, very pleased.
Kathleen Stark. The German team is rebuilding and will be united with the West Germans for the new team.
She opened with one of the more difficult mounts, so round off layout step out up to the balance beam. And follows it directly by a back handspring layout step out. You can see exactly how precise the gymnast's feet have to land on the balance beam. Here's where she had a little bit of a break. Round off back handspring, she steps right into a tuck jump. That's another requirement on balance beam. They're trying to encourage the gymnast to combine dance and acrobatic elements. A double back dismount with a very nice landing.
While we await her score, next up will be Betty Okino, who had that slight break as she hit with her ankle on the unevens, but Betty is the national champion in the beam event. This is her event as we take a look at Kathleen Stark, who waits for her score before Betty can go. But at the top of the scoreboard, as we said, it is the two Soviets, Natalia and Svetlana, as expected. Although Kim Zemeskova was expected to give them a real tumble, but she fell, if you're not with us, on the unevens, her first event.
9.587.
The score was 9.587.
Next up for the United States of America, Elizabeth Okino.
Now, Elizabeth Betty Okino out of Elmhurst, Illinois, trains with Bella Caroli down in Houston. And remember, she's our national champion in this event.
And as I said yesterday during the competition, she's just beautiful in this event. Really shows off those long legs. Here's one of her most difficult passes in the routine. Back handspring, 2 layout step outs. Whoa. It's a nice save, but unfortunately that will cost her. Switch leg leap into a sissone. It's really unfortunate seeing them have these slight breaks in the competition. They performed so well yesterday. That is so difficult. A double turn on the balance beam. Really shows off her dance training. Nice handstand showing several different positions, from a reverse plunge to a plunge and lowers down to straddle split, showing strength and flexibility. Here's her dismount pass. She does 2 back handsprings to a double back. And 1 hop on the landing. It was a nice routine, but unfortunately it did have that fairly large balance break.
Well, it is quite obvious that it's going to take some kind of combination of circumstances for the American team to medal in the All-America. The 2 Soviets are at the top. Onodi of Hungary looks very strong. Fernandez of Spain, Rueda of Spain.
Here's her 2 layout step outs, and you can see right there where she just gets a little bit crooked as she steps down to go for the landing. And this was beautiful. Double turn. You can see her spot at the end of the beam. It's a very risky move to do on the balance beam. She arches over, almost touches that toe on the beam. Lowers down to a plunge, right into straddle splits.
9-8-1-2 for Betty. 9-8-1-2.
Double back with a slight step.
Where there's will, there's a way. Betty Okino has now moved into 5th place. It could happen. 2 rotations for her yet remain here at the Tacoma Dome. Earlier tonight, Kathy Johnson referred to the fact that the Romanians' gymnastics program is in disarray. They only sent 1 competitor. Well, we asked Bela Karolyi, who is the Romanian ex-coach, who is here now, what happened to the Romanian squad? Why aren't they sending more than 1 person? Here's his explanation.
Financially, that country is in deep trouble. And when these signs, when even they have to pull back the athletes, not being able to support financially the trip, that's a very sad situation. I know how Romanians, how proud they've been, all of us, back in the old times. The Romanians been more proud than anything ever of their own athletes, Nadia and all the other kids who've been so famous, and they gave so much pride for those people. And if they came down to the point, they cannot even send them out to compete. Now that's a very sad situation, and sure, I feel very bad about it.
Bela, of course, who developed Comaneci and many other champions, now in Houston, Texas. We called him, the Romanian cowboy. He's got a ranch there with deer and all kinds of animals on it, and he is trying to develop an American team that is competitive. Bela says that last night's performance was the best by an American team in some time, but they're on their way back. We're waiting now for the score of Kosuge of Japan as we listen to Bela. This is her performance moments ago as we wait for her score. Check that. We are now over at the uneven bars, and that is Kyoko of Japan.
This is her teammate over on the uneven bars, and she's doing very well so far. Beautiful high front Jaeger. Their coach is the famous Mitsuo Sukahara, who invented the vault, and he's done an excellent job with these women.
Oh my, it fell right on that right shoulder.
I don't think that's what hurt worse. It's hitting that bar. And I have seen that coming since the workout sessions. They are very, very close to that bar. She held on a little bit too long. It pulled her back into the bar as she rotated. Oh.
Kyoko has fallen on the unevens as Kim Zemeskal fell on the unevens, and Kim Zemeskal is getting ready to go right now on the balance beam.
This is one of the most difficult things in gymnastics to do, is come back from a fall on the previous event and try and put that out of your mind. Kim is a very tough competitor. Here's her most critical pass. Back handspring, 2 layout step outs, perfect landing.
14 years old. There was some question whether or not she would compete yesterday. Bursitis in her heel, tendonitis in her wrist. But she was tops all around last night, but not tonight.
These Americans are still fairly inexperienced in major competition. This has been a wonderful opportunity for them to compete against the best and really show their competitive. Back handspring, layout, step out, down to one knee, showing a little bit of originality. Comes her dismount, round off, double back. All right, just one slight little hop on the landing, a very nice routine. A tough little competitor comes back from the uneven bars after that mishap.
She's a homegrown, too. She just came in off the streets of LA years ago. Not from outside the state or outside the city of Houston.
Her mount is a straddle press to a handstand, showing the strength. And this move shows strength and balance and control. All of the aspects that you must have in gymnastics. Of course, the dismount, she shows the power that she has in her legs, way up in the air on that double back dismount.
Zabesco going on. Her score 9.862. 9.862. We were watching Seo Kyogo and her bad moments on the uneven. There she is live as she prepares for her next rotation, and this is what happened to her.
You can see she holds on a little bit too long, rotates back into the bar. She is very, very lucky. She actually hit her head on the bar, then her shins on the bar, which obviously stops your rotation.
Kalina, Soviet Union first. Boganskaya, Soviet Union second. Lili of China has moved into third. The best American, Betty Okino, at sixth. Let's go back to Larry King.
Thanks, Jim. Some more moments with Vladimir Posner, our Soviet commentator. On this switch, Svetlana out, Svetlana in, the injury, your thoughts?
Well, I think they pulled a fast one, quite frankly. I have enormous respect for Baginskaya, which is the correct pronunciation of these difficult Russian names. She's a wonderful gymnast, but she did fall, and I think what they tried to do is give her an extra chance, and that's really not the way you do sports, in my opinion. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am.
Now, do you think they faked an injury of someone else to get her back in?
The rules are that if you do have an injury, you can put someone back in, and I don't think that the injury really was there.
All you have to do is report the injury. There's no medical check.
You have a doctor on the team, and the doctor says, yes, this person has an injury, cannot come out, and you believe the doctor.
So we better understand the Soviet Union. Would this be accepted form to knock this, as you're doing now, publicly?
I don't know. I'm telling you what I think. You know,
would there be any problem if you were doing this in Moscow?
This would probably get back to Moscow very fast.
But you're not worried?
No, I'm not, no.
Glasnost is here, Vladimir.
Well, you know, worst comes to worst, they'll substitute someone. They'll say, I got an injury.
Say goodbye to Vladimir.
So long.
When we return, our roaming reporter, Steve Largent, he's in Discovery Park as the Voyager, get this, visits a Palmson, Jim.
All right, Larry, they have just begun the third rotation, and again, after two rotations, the scores have the Soviets atop. Natalia Kalinina of the Soviet Union. The world champion Boganskaya is second. Lili of China is third. And coming up to one of her better events, the beam. And we'll check on the third round competition in a moment, but now let's check on Hannah Storm.
Well, coming up is the floor routine for Svetlana Boganskaya, Jim, and this could be the key where she makes her move. She now trails her teammate Kalinina by less than 1/10 of a point, but her floor routine has been the rage. At the 1989 World Championships, this avant-garde, very unusual floor routine, she got a 10 on that to take over the all-around title. It's a wild routine. I think that it's absolutely going to knock your socks off. She's not going to win anything with her tumbling, but she could definitely, with her style, take over the lead from her teammate. You're going to love it. It's a real treat.
All right, Hannah, while waiting for Boganskaya, Janine Rankin of Canada is on the beam and has just fallen off the beam and has remounted. And they alternate the competition so that everybody here can see each event as it happens instead of trying to separate your mind and your eyes from one event to the other. Rankin is concluding as Boganskaya is getting ready. And the Soviets as a group Kathy, are just, well, I'll use Hannah's term, will knock your socks off on floor exercises. They're terrific.
They will knock your socks off and bring tears to your eyes. They are so graceful and elegant on this event. Boginskaya has a little bit different style than many of the other Soviet gymnasts. It is a little bit avant-garde. She